Well, good evening. This is Malcolm Keefe from the Graphic Communication Education Association, and I welcome you to our webinar series. And tonight we have Dr. John Leininger from Clemson University, and we're very pleased that he's joining us tonight and is going to teach us all about mailing.
Why should you be learning about mailing? Well, I have heard this in many different industry trade groups that have said this, and the biggest one that I've heard is Infotrends has said that's sort of the research arm of our industry. And they say that over 50% of everything that gets printed goes in the mail at some point. If I went today and left work here and I put something in the mail and hand addressed it, put a 50-cent stamp on it, dropped it in the mailbox in front of the post office, that would go, they would pick it up, they would take it to Greenville, South Carolina, they would run it through one machine in Greenville, South Carolina that say this is going to go to a main facility in California. When it gets to the main facility in California, at that main facility, it would probably run through at least 2, possibly 3 machines. Then it would go to a subsection, a subgroup. I'm not going to get into all the acronyms on you today, but they would get into sort of a more central one that might be covering maybe 1/10 of California. And then that would get processed there probably once, at least once, maybe twice, and then it goes to the local post office and it's processed one more time. So the mail is going to handle it probably, typically it's going to be, if it's across the country, it's going to be 4 to 6 times. So if, on the other hand, I was mailing 150 pieces to Malcolm's zip code area, so I was mailing just to San Luis Obispo, and that was the only place it was going, and I had one full tray of mail, and I was mailing it as Clemson University in a nonprofit status, I'd be able to mail that for 8.8 cents. Now, why can I do that? Because I would be putting it in a tray that is only going to get handled. It's going to be shipped all the way to California, but they're going to open it one time and put it through one machine at the local post office because I put in a tray that all the pieces in that mail went there. All right. To focus on here that the whole rest of this presentation is going to be about is mail piece design and the format of the mail piece and following the rules for addressing and preparing the mail to be processed. Now here's just a comparison so you can see it. If I take 8 pieces of bond paper and I put it into a 9x12 envelope, it's going to mail as a flat. A flat is anything over 6 1/8 by 11.5 inches. So it's going to mail, if you go back a couple of slides and look yourself on the handouts, it's going to mail at $1.42 a piece for a flat. Now, it has to do with weight. So if I take that and I fold everything in half, it's now a 6x9, which is a letter size. Again, I said it had to be smaller than 6 1/8 by 11.5. So 6x9 mails as a letter. Because the weight also drops it down to 2 ounces instead of 3 ounces, which is what the flat was, because the envelope was a little bit heavier. So I'm now mailing it at 2 ounces. So instead of mailing that flat at $1.42, I mailed it for 71 cents. So I ended up cutting my cost in half of mailing this at first class. This is if I do a 1 out, just I'm mailing it to somebody in California. I'm mailing it myself. Over here are some more discounts. So if I'm going to mail to every single person in a specific carrier route, so now I'm getting down to carrier routes. If I'm going to mail to everybody in a carrier route and I delivered it to the local DSCF, I would actually get, this is not nonprofit. This is not first class, but this is regular mail. Any business can do this. I could be mailing my pieces for 15.8 cents. That's how much discount you can get if you know exactly what you're doing and you're maximizing your discounts. This is nonprofit, so if you take a look at it, so over here I've got mixed AADC, an AADC of 5-digit, then I have basic. Basic means you have to have 75%. 75% of the carrier route has to be filled. And then high density is a little bigger percentage, and then high density plus, and then saturation, you have to have you have to saturate everybody in the carrier route. But if I'm saturating everybody in the carrier route, okay, and I'm doing nonprofit, I can mail it for 8.3 cents a piece. So your mail piece design, this is a template to have, and I'll show you, and I'll tell you where you can even get them. You can get them for free. This one I got from someplace else. It just stands out a little bit better. But this dark line that you see that I'm going around with the mouse, this is 6 1/8 inches high, and it's 11 1/2 inches wide. And the mail piece, you see how this sort of funny triangle over on the right-hand side I'm outlining? The top right corner of the mail piece has to fit in there. Otherwise, it doesn't have the right proportions to go through the mail. The other one is, can you mail it first class, or can you mail it USPS marketing mail? There's a link at the bottom of this. You can click on that link. You'll go right to the webpage, and you can download a PDF of this. You can make it up really big, put it up on the wall. These are your basics, your minimum and maximum. So if you mail something that's smaller than 3 or smaller than 5, height smaller than 3 or shorter than 5, it cannot go through the mail equipment. It is unmailable. Can't even mail it with a penalty. It is unmailable. And it needs to be at least 7/1000ths of an inch thick. The maximum for a letter to get, and a letter's a good price, and it processes fast and easy, 6 1/8 inches high, 11 1/2 wide, and no thicker than 1/4 of an inch. What's in an address? So this is my name and address that somebody would normally type it. The post office doesn't want any punctuation marks, and they want it in all caps. So, and they also said, I said sans serif. Now we take out the punctuation. I can do it in upper and lowercase. It's not a requirement. It's just a suggestion. And then down in the bottom is my 12. It's actually an 11-digit zip code. Okay. It's 11 digits, but they put in an extra one that's a check digit. And so I'll show you on the next slide. We have to turn it into a barcode. This is an older barcode. I'm going to show you the newer one in a few minutes, but you can't use this one anymore, but it's all coded in and numbered. The new barcode is an intelligent mail barcode. It's non-human readable. It includes more than just the address. Does not include a person's name, just the address. And it's encoded with 4-letter combinations. They call it DAFT, D-A-F-T, a descender, an ascender, a full bar, and a tracker. Okay, I basically decoded it. Now, the way it comes out of the software program is these are all the letters. This is spelling all the information. It's non-human readable. You can't make any heads or tail of that. You need their computer system to decode what that is. Okay, so it's the barcode up above. It's made up of all of those letters, and they can't translate it into those bars that are up above. So what I ended up doing was I took $4.99 I spent and bought the IMBS scan or IMB Scan Pro. For $4.99 I got to check this. I have to tell you, I sweat bullets every time I do this, especially because I can't read it. I used to be able to read the old Postnet one. I could actually read the numbers and see it. So I scanned it. This is a screen capture of my name. Okay, of my barcode. Notice my name's not on there, but that's got my correct address information right up to the zip +4. The 2 digits above it are what we call the delivery point. So that's my zip +4, which makes 9, and then that's 1011. I don't have a check digit anymore. This, by the way, is how your zip codes, if they knew in 1955 when they came up with zip code, they would never have started in New England with 0. They would have started with 1. That leading 0 is still a problem today. It's been a big problem ever since we went computerized, but that's how this country is broken up. So anyhow, these are all the barcodes the post office has been using up until this year when they came up, not this year, it became mandatory this year that they went to the intelligent barcode. So all these other barcodes are gone. They don't exist anymore. Everything that was encoded in those is encoded, all included in the intelligent mail barcode. When they first came out with it, they called it a 4-state barcode. Then everybody got confused thinking it had something to do with 4-state sorting. And then they started calling it 1 state or 1 code. And they finally said, okay, we're confusing anybody. And they came up with intelligent mail barcode. It's been like that for about 8 years now. And this is the difference. There's a few more lines in the intelligent mail barcode than Postnet. But the fact that there's 4 different kinds of line instead of 2 different kinds of line, they're able to embed a lot more information. It's actually pretty fascinating. And then these are the different parts. So you can go back on the slide where I showed you what I scanned. But this is the different parts of what makes up the intelligent mail barcode. This is just a basic format of where you can put your address image. Remember I told you there are 4 places to put the barcode. There's another slide that'll show that better. But this, never, ever, ever put anything in the bottom right-hand corner. The post office owns that part of your mail. If they can't read your image, they will put a little sticker on that bottom side, and then they'll inkjet a barcode on there.